Vinny O'Connor, who is just outside the training ground. Vinny, good afternoon to you. This is big business for United. What do we know about the timeline on these particular deals?
Well, we're as far down the line now as talking about the possibility of both players being registered in time for the season opener against Fulham on Friday night. It's been a long time coming, I suppose, in many respects, but United wanting to bolster that back line. And today we know that both medicals are underway because two people carriers with blacked out windows turned up at Carrington just after 9 o'clock this morning, taking both players into the training ground. We couldn't tell exactly who was in which car at the time, but we've have confirmation since then that both players had arrived ready to undergo those medicals. And while there's still a bit of a way to go in many respects in terms of getting those medicals completed, obviously we know that the deals are on the table for both players and agreed with Bayern Munich. So what can we tell you about those deals? Well, Ligt would be a deal worth up to £42.9 million. That would be £38.6 million plus £4.3 million in add-ons as well. Personal terms not expected to be a problem. We also know about his relationship with Erik ten Hag stretching back to his time at Ajax. Also, Mazraoui obviously has relationship with Erik ten Hag going back to their days at Ajax as well. In terms of the deal that's been struck for him, it's worth up to £17.2 million. That's £12.9 million plus performance-related add-ons of £4.3 million as well. Remember, there was a deal agreed with West Ham for Mazraoui earlier this summer, and then it fell apart because West Ham turned their attention elsewhere. Aaron Wan-Bissaka obviously became a target for them, and ironically, of course, it needs Aaron Wan-Bissaka to move to West Ham for the Mazraoui deal to go through. It all looks like that's all progressing well, but as I say, still a little bit of a way to go, but seemingly on course to be registered for those deals to go through by midday on Thursday. And if they are registered by then on Thursday, then they are available, of course, to play against Fulham in that season opener on Friday night.
Well, Vinny, as you mentioned, these players have both been linked to the club for a long time. What will they add to Erik ten Hag's squad for the upcoming campaign?
Well, I think, first of all, as I mentioned, numbers in that back line. We know the injury problems that Manchester United have had, particularly last season at centre-half and at full-back as well. And on top of that, of course, Lenny Yoro, who signed this summer, picked up that foot injury against Arsenal that's ruled him out for 3 months now. So while he's one for the future, I suppose he was also going to be an option early doors in the season. And someone like Ligt coming in obviously gives a much more wealth of experience, albeit still at the age of 24. But when you consider that he played 100 games for Ajax by the time he left them at the age of 19. He'd been a captain under Ten Hag there. He'd won the Dutch league title. He captained Ajax to the semi-finals of the Champions League as well. Played 73 times for Bayern Munich, of course, scoring 5 goals in that time, but lost his way in terms of his form somewhat, I suppose. But United are getting a highly motivated individual who wants to rediscover his best form both at club level and, of course, in the international setup as well to regain that starting berth in the Dutch national side. Erik ten Hag, we know, is full of praise for him. He said back in 2019 that he believed he could become the number one in his position in Europe as well. So maybe they're coming back together at just the right time, both for Erik ten Hag's career and for Matthijs de Ligt's career as well. On top of that, of course, Mazraoui, another former Ajax defender. We've seen United's need for a fullback highlighted once again, I think, by the Community Shield, with Pellistri playing as a makeshift right back in that second half against Manchester City as well. Mazraoui can actually play as both a right back and a left back. He enjoyed working with Erik ten Hag first time around. He credits him with improving him tactically, improving him attacking-wise as well. He describes him as a top coach who was very important to him as well. I think Ten Hag will also be looking at it and thinking maybe Mazraoui and Anthony can rekindle that working relationship down the right-hand side that they had at Ajax that was so productive at Ajax as well, and maybe it would help Anthony rediscover his best form as well. So, on paper, the reasoning behind the two signings looks sound, but United fans will want more than that. They want it to look sound on the pitch.
Vinny, great stuff. Thanks for that.